Do you ever feel like you're doing all the right things? You're working hard at a good job, you have a decent income, you're even saving a bit every month, but you're still stuck financially. Your friends seem to be traveling and buying apartments and enjoying life, while for you it's hard enough just to pay the bills. And life goals like early retirement seem like impossible dreams. If that sounds familiar, it could be because you're missing half of the money equation. When I figured this out, I went from 900 euros in the bank to financial freedom in less than a decade. And no, it wasn't because of crypto or day trading or side hustles. Let me explain. Here in Europe, our parents tell us to study hard, get a good job, and build a great career. And that's good advice, but it's incomplete. Take an extreme example. My parents also told me to study hard and get a good job, but I was born in Soviet Latvia. And in the Soviet Union, you could be first in your class and the best at your job, and you would still be dirt poor. That's because communism doesn't reward skill and effort. Communism rewards political position. Today, most of us Europeans, we live under capitalism. And sure, capitalism does reward skill and effort. But as you have already discovered, this is not enough to build real wealth, because skill and effort is not what capitalism rewards the most. To understand it, imagine this. I invite 5 of my friends who are really good at baking to bake a pie at my home. I provide the oven and pay for all the ingredients. My friends do all the shopping and all the work to bake a fantastic apple pie. Then I say, I'm keeping half the pie. The 5 of you can split the other half. That's only fair because it's my oven and I paid for the ingredients, right? Well, I'm guessing I wouldn't keep those friends for long, but that's pretty much how capitalism works. When you look at economic statistics, only a bit more than half of global income goes to labor. So only half is paid to people doing all the work to generate the income. The other 50% go to land and capital, basically to the people who own the ovens, the factories, the technologies, the companies, the real estate. In other words, almost half of all global income goes to investors. And when you look at this, are you still surprised that you are stuck financially? If your formula for building wealth relies solely on you outworking everybody else to grab a bigger share of this limited labor income pie, well, you're doomed to be trapped in this exhausting rat race for the rest of your life. And I hate to say it, but chances are the situation is getting worse, not better. In the 20th century, globalization moved stable factory jobs from Europe to Asia. In the early 21st century, digitalization did the same thing for many office jobs, and today the AI revolution is here to finish the job. More and more of global incomes will go to the owners of artificial intelligence systems instead of the people whose jobs these systems replace. Okay, but putting aside our new robot overlords, this problem is not actually new. Ever since Karl Marx identified it in the 19th century, people have been trying to solve it at the government level. Countries like Russia, China, Vietnam, Cuba tried out communism. Having lived both in the Soviet Union and in Cuba, where I spent a year studying at Havana's Instituto Superior de Arte, I can tell you for sure that communism does not work. When you redistribute wealth, people lose motivation to create wealth. They don't want to innovate and work really hard, okay? The economy crashes, and what little wealth is there gets stolen by a small political elite. I'm not a politician, so I'm not going to get into these high-level solutions. But here's what I personally know and believe. We can, each of us, take individual action to fix this problem, not for society, but for ourselves and our families. For the past decade, I've been teaching beginning investors all across Europe, and I get so frustrated when people treat investing as something optional. Okay, you have a good education, a nice job, a family, everything is sorted out, and then maybe you can do some investing. Where, in fact, it's a fundamental activity that pretty much everybody in society should be doing, just so you get your fair share of the income produced by society. Now, I understand that when you're starting from zero, it can feel hopeless. You look at all the billionaires, you think that all of the economy is owned by these rich people, and you with your low salary, I mean, you can barely make an impact by making a few small investments. And to some extent, that is true. You will not become obscenely rich by just investing a part of your salary. The only way to really big riches is through entrepreneurship. And I've done some of that. A lot of my family's wealth comes from the fact that I got into entrepreneurship and started some companies. If you love doing it, it's a wonderful path, but I recognize that not everybody will start businesses. But what most people don't realize is that it's completely realistic for regular people who are starting basically from zero to invest in such a way that over your lifetime, half of your income or even more comes from investments, not from your salary. All right, so let's assume you're starting out at the age of 20. So that would mean your career is 45 years. In the beginning, you have nothing, so let's start with zero, and then every month you invest a set amount. Now, obviously, over the course of your career, your income will go up, but prices will also go up. There's all kinds of nuances. We're just going to keep it simple. I'm going to assume your income is a fixed 3,000 euros per month, and you invest 20%, so that's 600 euros per month. Okay. And for the profit level, I'm going to assume the long-term average for global stocks, which has been 9%. Okay. So looking at this kind of scenario, over 45 years, you would put aside 324,000 euros. Your profit would be 3.6 million euros, and your final balance would be almost 4 million euros. Now, we can also do a quick calculation. How much money would you make from your job over 45 years? So that's 45 years times 3,000 per month times 12, and that's 1.6 million. So in this case, your profits from investing would be much bigger than your income from your job. Now, realistically, most of us don't start investing at the age of 20. So let's assume you start at the age of 30. That gives you 35 years. Okay. In that case, you would invest 252,000 over 35 years. You would have profits of 1.37 million, and your final balance would be 1.6 million. Okay. And let's see how much you can make from your job over 35 years. So that would be 35 times 3,000 times 12. That's 1.26 million. Okay, so again, your total profits from investing over this time period would be bigger than all the income you got from your job. Now, of course, if you're feeling stuck today, then thinking about investing over 35 years, it can be kind of depressing. It's a really long time. But the good news is you can accomplish big changes in much shorter periods of time. So for example, if you just save and invest for 10 years, well, your profits will not be that huge, right? But you will still put aside 72,000 euros. In this example, your profits would be 42,000 euros, and you would end up with over 100,000 euros. So even doing that, I mean, the difference between having 2,000 or 3,000 euros in the bank and having over 100,000, it's huge, right? Think about the mental freedom this gives you. You don't have to stress about what if you lose your job. You can have the flexibility to work fewer hours or switch fields or travel more. I mean, this can already be a major upgrade for your life quality. When I meet people who are stuck financially, well, sometimes it's because they're missing the basics. They haven't developed their career, or more often, they're simply spending too much. But many people that I meet are great savers, okay? They are very disciplined about their budget, and all that is great, but they're still not making progress. And it's because they don't understand the full money equation. They think that the equation is your income equals your salary. But actually, it should be your income equals your salary plus investment profits. And if you take advantage of this full money equation, you can grow your wealth much, much faster. Now, of course, if you're new to investing, it can be kind of tricky, especially here in Europe. Nobody teaches us how to invest at home or in school. So you're not sure what is a stock and how do you buy one? What are the risks? What are the benefits? So most people get lost. To avoid that, just watch this video where I walk you step by step through everything that beginning investors in Europe need to know.